Okay, to start with, toilet wine turns out is a misnomer. The toilet is mostly a hiding place, and God knows it is not really wine, right? And Sean Diddy Combs is not the first prison inmate to get busted with it.
Diddy, obviously just starting out his time, well, not just starting out, but starting out his official sentence since being sentenced not too long ago. And I think suffice to say, it's not going well so far.
But they wanted them to tell them the story of Puff with underage boys.
Diddy's time in prison isn't unfolding the way he expected. After claiming in court that he was sober for the first time in 25 years, reports now suggest he's been caught drinking homemade alcohol behind bars.
But TMZ is reporting that Diddy has been caught with the stuff, this week in fact. He did have a birthday on Tuesday and was going to be moved to a new unit apparently as punishment, but the officials changed their minds according to the report. But that still leaves the question of Diddy's alleged newfound sobriety, which he made such a big point of emphasizing when he was sentenced, and whether this will have any impact on that sentence.
Just a few weeks ago, Diddy wrote a lengthy apology letter to Judge Arun Subramanian, claiming he'd been sober for the first time in 25 years and had turned over a new leaf. He pleaded for mercy before sentencing, insisting he wanted to change and focus on self-improvement, but that now appears to have been a lie. According to inside sources, Diddy landed in trouble with officials at Fort Dix, the New Jersey prison where he's serving his 4-year sentence for prostitution-related charges. Reports claim he was caught drinking jail-made alcohol, commonly known as toilet wine. Former federal inmate Gene Burrell recently explained how Diddy might have managed to pull it off.
Let's get back to making it. I know you gave me the ingredients.
Right.
I want you to tell me how you put them together in the burping, which is interesting. But before you do that, how is the toilet involved? Because in my mind, whenever I heard toilet wine, I imagine an inmate stirring, the hooch in the toilet bowl, but that's not it.
Right.
So explain what actually happens.
Well, they usually get a big garbage bag, like a big clear bag. I've seen it done in a garbage bag, and they'll put it in the toilet and then let it sit in there. You know what I mean? They won't actually put it in the toilet bowl. You get what I'm saying? With the water. You know what I mean, right? You're not actually stirring it in the toilet bowl.
In the tank, yeah. So it's in a bag and it's hidden in the toilet tank, not in the toilet bowl.
Not in the toilet bowl,
and that's just...
It takes a while to make. It takes a while to make. It's not just an overnight thing. This takes days to make it. And remember, it smells really bad, so you have to have a good hiding spot. It's very strong.
Oh, it does smell. Okay, so that's the other thing. So the toilet tank is what you're hiding it from the view of the guards, not necessarily the temperature of the toilet tank is, optimal for the fermentation of the lovely hooch, But so they put it in the toilet tank, and then how does the toilet tank fill up with water to flush? You pull it out, do your business, and flush, and then put it back in?
Yes.
But the real question now is, what consequences will Diddy face for this? Here's a hint. It's not looking good.
Basically, it's different ways to make it. You can make it with orange peels. You can make it with sugar. It's all different ways. But what a lot of people don't know, and why it is serious in prison, it can blow up. So if you don't know what you're doing and you don't let it breathe, as they say, it could actually be like a bomb. So it actually can blow up and everything will spray everywhere. But it can get you drunk, and it could also land you in the hole. So, I mean, I don't know as far as them saying he's going to move him out of the unit. I know it's a very serious ticket. I know he could lose his phone, he could lose commissary, and he could lose visits, and also maybe go to the SHU for up to 30 days or maybe more.
So, I mean, that's all serious stuff. I keep wondering about the sentence. Do you not think it's possible, especially since he campaigned, in his sentencing, that he was getting sober? He'd been working, on a sobriety at the MDC. And now he's at Fort Dix. And if this is true, if the report's true, might they say, well, screw it. You're not getting your 15% off your federal sentence.
Right, so it don't work like that, but every ticket in the feds, if it's a certain degree ticket, you will lose some good time.
When prison officials were questioned about the incident, they claimed to have no information. However, Diddy's team urged everyone not to jump to conclusions. A representative told Page 6, Mr. Combs is in his first week at FCI Fort Dix and is focused on adjusting, improving himself, and doing better each day. But former inmate Gene Burrell isn't buying that story. In his opinion, Diddy might not only have been drinking, he could have been trying to turn the situation into a business opportunity, which, according to Gene, is something that happens quite often behind bars.
So, like I said, these people that usually do make it, are very good at it, and they actually charge to make it. So in prison, in federal prison, everything's a business. So he probably paid somebody to actually hold that in their cell and make it for his birthday. I guess it was his birthday that came up, and they will make this alcohol beverage for you. But what's confusing to me is that when you're in the feds, usually there's a crooked CO that'll just bring you in an actual bottle of vodka. So I don't know why they even made it.
Serious?
Yes.
It's a far cry from the Diddy the world once knew, the flashy music mogul who threw iconic all-white parties and lived a non-stop life of luxury. Now, he's wearing a grey beanie, a thick blue prison jacket, and a rough beard that makes him look years older. Recent photos from Fort Dix's prison yard show him smiling faintly and chatting with other inmates, a quiet, humbled version of the man who once ruled the charts and red carpets. Before his sentencing, Diddy had written in his apology letter that prison forced him to face himself. "I literally lost my mind," he confessed. "I'm sorry for that and always will be." He blamed his past behavior on years of alcohol and drug abuse, admitting, "I lost my way. My downfall was rooted in my selfishness. I have been humbled and broken to my core." He also wrote, "The old me died in jail, and a new version of me was born. Prison will change you or kill you. I choose to live." His legal team specifically requested placement at Fort Dix because it's a low-security facility, but even there, Diddy reportedly hasn't been safe. Just a few weeks ago, insiders claim he was attacked in his cell and woke up with a knife held to his throat.
Diddy, obviously just starting out his time, well, not just starting out, but starting out his official sentence since being sentenced not too long ago. And I think suffice to say it's not going well so far.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's got 4 years and change that he's going to ultimately have to serve, although he has served already a year as he awaited his trial and then went through his trial. So ultimately probably he was going to serve about 2.5 years or so, but it's still serious time that he's going to have to serve. And he has already, at least if you listen to people close to Diddy, been the victim of violence behind bars. So there was an incident that we first learned about 2 weeks ago during Diddy's sentencing hearing, and he said, I was sleeping in my bed in the prison. It's a federal detention facility in Brooklyn called MDC Brooklyn, and there are federal inmates who are in many cases waiting for their trial as well. And Diddy claimed that somebody held a knife to his throat. He woke up and this guy basically had him and he had the knife, and Diddy was at this person's mercy. Now, it's unclear what exactly happened from there. Was there a guard that came in? Did Diddy somehow fight this person off? Well, it seems unlikely that happened. Or did the person just leave? Bottom line, this guy, at least according to people close to Diddy and Diddy himself, could have hurt him badly or even taken his life. And I think that was something they wanted known during the hearing because they wanted the judge to take some pity on Diddy.
Now, while mainstream news outlets didn't provide many details at the time, a former inmate named Raymond Castillo has come forward to share what really went down and why Diddy was attacked. According to Raymond, word inside Fort Dix spread fast that Diddy wasn't just another celebrity inmate. He was someone many prisoners already had strong opinions about. Some saw him as a symbol of arrogance and privilege, while others viewed him as the man responsible for exploiting people in the outside world. Raymond claimed that tension had been brewing from the moment Diddy arrived. He said, "People in there don't care who you were on the outside. If they think you disrespected someone or used your fame the wrong way, they'll come for you." Allegedly, one night things took a violent turn when a group of inmates cornered Diddy in his cell, and that's when the confrontation nearly turned deadly.
It's very dangerous in there. It's very, very, very dangerous. I'm one of the lucky ones to say I made it out, because in there you could go in. I've seen brothers go in there and really lose their lives. Especially while Mr. Combs was in there, 2 people has lost their lives.
Right. I do remember reading
due to gang violence.
Yeah. Did he have a CO that was kind of near him? More than others, or not really?
Nah, he's a regular inmate just like everybody else.
Wow.
They might watch him. They might watch him just a little more at times, but he's just a regular inmate just like us. He's going through everything we're going through: the cold trays, the lockdowns, the police on the monitor us with the segregations. He is living what we're living. There was no special treatment for Sean Diddy Combs. There's no favoritism for him in there at all.
Can you talk to me about the incident when he woke up to a knife to his neck?
That's false.
Oh.
He didn't wake up with no knife to his neck. The incident, I recall the incident because I'm the one that intervened when the incident was going on. He was watching TV actually when this happened. He was watching Basketball Wives, and this West Coast gang member that was serving 30 years walked up to him and was really trying to take a chair from him that Diddy was already sitting on. The incident happened over a chair that nobody owns, that the facility owns. So he was trying to take this chair from Diddy. So Diddy, and mind you, Diddy wasn't scared. Diddy didn't flinch. He just stared the guy down and was asking the guy, "Your homeboy, why you coming at me like that about a chair that don't belong to none of us? You see I'm watching TV?" And the guy got hostile. I don't know if he was trying to look for some clout or he was having a bad day. He got hostile with Diddy, but this is where I seen Diddy's actual change. When the guy was getting hostile, Diddy tried to spread love to the guy and talk some positivity to the guy. And the guy wasn't trying to take heat of it. The guy went and got a knife. So when he went and got the knife and tried to back the knife out, I intervened and grabbed the guy's hand. I got in between them, grabbed the guy's hand to prevent them from trying to stab Diddy.
Raymond explained that the real story was very different from what the media reported. Diddy managed to calm the situation before it turned violent, speaking directly to the inmates and diffusing the tension. According to Raymond, it wasn't about fear, it was about respect. Diddy handled it like a man who knew he couldn't afford another mistake.
Diddy just got up and tried to speak to the guy and told the guy, like, "Yo, homeboy, are you all right?" He even told the guy, you might need a prayer or something. And actually try to pray with the guy and everything. Like, the way I seen Diddy handle that altercation, I've never seen nobody handle it like that before.
He offered to pray with him.
That could have actually went left. It could have went bad. But thankfully, nothing happened, and everybody stayed safe. Even when the police rushed the unit because they seen on the camera, Diddy tried to speak up for the guy. For his supposed attacker, Diddy tried to speak up for this guy to keep him on the unit.
Did he really offer to pray with him after the guy pulled a knife on him?
He told the guy, "I think you need to find God, homeboy."
Oh, wow. And what did he say, the West Coast gang member?
Well, the guy was just saying he has 30 years. He's doing 30 years. He has nothing to lose.
Oh,
I will make sure you never make it home.
And not to be, I guess, naive, but when you say he just goes to get a knife, like, where do you just go to get a knife? I mean, did he have it hiding on like a homemade shank under a table or something? Or like, where do you?
They usually have that stash spot, jail-made stash spots. So he went to wherever he was hiding it at. And then he came back with his knife.
Wow. I mean, do you know if, you say stash spots, do you know if Diddy was ever offered any drugs in prison or anything jail, anything like that? And he was No.
Diddy did involve himself with no negativity.
Wow. That's crazy. That story got totally twisted in the media. I mean, and I know this was months ago, but that got completely twisted. It was reported that a guard or a CO actually broke it up, that fight, but it was you.
Yes.
It's interesting that Diddy's already gotten attacked in prison because many believe he's got a target on his back due to the secrets he holds about very powerful people. In fact, a former mobster has claimed that Diddy has Epstein-like links to the CIA and that he might be too dangerous to be left alive.
So are you saying too, let me stop you here, that Epstein made a lot of his money through blackmailing wealthy people?
He did, but he was protected because Jeffrey Epstein by himself couldn't blackmail someone like Les Wexner, who has connections to the Genovese crime family. Whoever the blackmail mark has to know, if you touch Jeffrey Epstein, there's going to be retribution. The only way that Jeffrey Epstein could blackmail some of the most powerful people, not only in the country, but in the world.
I didn't think that far into this, that he could have been, a CIA operative, if you want to call him that, being used by the CIA to blackmail politicians and powerful people.
Some as young as 10 years old. 10 years old. Those were allegations in the Epstein and the Diddy case. And people are covering it up. And they're complicit in it. And the media keeps their mouths shut. They'd rather go after Trump for some BS thing that happened in a hotel room in 2006. A payoff to an alleged that Trump denies. There's no real evidence to show that. In the Diddy case, there's evidence. There's videos. He blackmailed people. So did Epstein. Where are these files? Where are the videos? Why are we not seeing them? We want to know who's involved in this, because those videos will show who visited the Epstein mansion and who visited Diddy's freak-offs.
But where does this rabbit hole really lead? Who's going to get caught in the crossfire if the Epstein files and Diddy footage ever see the light of day? Can we really trust the people leading us? Those are big questions, and it seems the ones protecting Diddy are desperate to keep the truth buried. There are even whispers that Tupac's case might be reopened after the recent Keefe D trial, just to make sure Diddy stays quiet. And now, conveniently, Tupac's brother has started giving interviews suggesting Diddy may have been involved in Pac's death.
I do want to kind of get maybe a thought around this thing that's happening with Puff. He is behind bars. Does that give you any closure, or what does that do for you to see that? Because I can imagine it could be very conflicting.
Yeah, because I don't champion putting young black men in jail. Right. Jail, period. That ain't but there's questions that need to be answered, and with this arrest of Keefe D brought more questions, you know what I mean? And and there was some answers with that. So it has to be looked at.
When you go back to 1996, 95, or more so just like in those 90 eras when things were really, really tough between the East Coast, the West Coast, one tribe versus another tribe, are you surprised to know that this is where Diddy's life has ended up at the moment?
Am I surprised at that?
Mm-hmm. Are you surprised that he's currently sitting in a prison?
No.
So, what could this really mean? Well, first off, Diddy knows the feds have him cornered. They raided his mansions and reportedly found hundreds of hours of freak-off footage, clear leverage over him. But here's the strange part. He only got about 50 months in prison. That light sentence makes it seem like this whole thing might not be about justice at all, but rather a carefully staged effort to publicly humiliate Diddy instead of truly punishing him.
One of the politicians that was pandered to was the Attorney General, Richard Thornburg. So it went all the way up the food chain, and it had to be covered up at all costs. With Epstein, we're seeing the exact same thing. And also with Diddy, that Epstein was protected. Damian Williams did the damage control on the Epstein-Maxwell case, is making sure that the witnesses that were called to testify against Maxwell didn't have knowledge of any of the other abominations that were going on. And then he oversaw the Diddy grand jury. And the thing with Diddy is he was starting to get too much press also, because there were a number of, last March, there were 8 lawsuits that were filed against him. Now there's many, many more. But Diddy is indicted, well, he's got 3 indictments, but one of them is a racketeering indictment, and he's the only one indicted. Diddy had hidden cameras, and there were hidden cameras in all of his homes. And what kind of struck me as perplexing is usually the FBI served search warrants for human trafficking. It was Homeland Security that served the search warrant on Diddy. And the search warrants were served in Los Angeles and also Miami, but they emanated from the Southern District. So Damian Williams had his paws on the search warrant, just make sure that that they did damage control. And Damian Williams is really, really dirty in all of this, and he retired or resigned from being a U.S. attorney about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I started making a lot of noise about him. I don't know if I had anything to do with his resigning. But on some of the bigger podcasts I've been on, I've pointed him out that he's really been very, very dirty. Anybody who covers up child trafficking, and at this point, there's probably, I think, with Busby's cases, there's probably 20 minors involved. There were, in the first 8 cases, 2 of them were minors.
With his dark secrets exposed and his reputation in ruins, Diddy can't return to the life he once had. His empire has crumbled, and the feds still hold plenty of evidence they can use against him at any moment. For now, though, it seems he might still be valuable to them, especially since former President Donald Trump has reportedly hinted that he's considering granting Diddy a pardon.
Diddy is telling other inmates at Fort Dix, the prison where he is now serving his sentence, telling them that he is going to be pardoned by Donald Trump early next year. We know this based on sources who are at Fort Dix, and he is telling people that, and we can't say how we know, but on the outside we have confirmed that's true, that he is telling people that, this is a real thing.
So this is not just him trying to buddy up to people in the yard. He's saying this based on information that he is getting.
Yep.
That it's still on the table.
So we told you that literally the day after he was sentenced, somebody from his legal team contacted somebody who has President Trump's ear, somebody in the White House, asking for a pardon. The next day, Donald Trump was informed about this, and then a day or 2 later, he told the news media that. We then posted a story that Trump was vacillating on whether to do it or not. There were people in the White House who were urging him not to, but as one of the White House sources told us, he's going to do what he wants to do. And now it looks like when you connect the dots, it sounds like this is a real thing. I mean, if I had to bet money at this point,
right?
My bet is Donald Trump's going to pardon Diddy.
And if you're Diddy and you're at Fort Dix, you don't go around saying that unless you have some reason, because you're gonna look stupid, right? You're gonna be there for 2 years. You're you're just meeting these inmates. They probably think you're full of it anyway, right? So you won't say it unless you have actual information. Yeah, am I sure?
And as if on cue just a few days ago, media outlets started reporting that Diddy just got a small win in court. One that could speed up his fight to get out of prison sooner. A judge has agreed to fast-track his appeal just days after Diddy was moved to a federal prison in New Jersey to start serving his 50-month sentence. U.S. Circuit Court Judge Beth Robinson approved Diddy's request in a short 2-paragraph order. His lawyers are hoping this move could shave time off his sentence if the appeal goes in his favor.
Maybe he's got a plan. Well, he's always got a plan.
Based on everything we know, my money is on Diddy will be a free man by March.
What's interesting,
and honestly, based on a phone call that I made a few minutes ago, maybe much sooner.
Hey, it's Marie from Bellingham, Washington. I don't think anybody should count their chickens before they're hatched. It's rather unfortunate, but President Trump seems to flip-flop back and forth depending on which way the wind is blowing. So I think Diddy better just hang on.
Yeah,
that is also true. I mean, like, if you're
true.
Diddy, like, yes, you can be confident.
But here's the difference. Here's the difference. You're right that the wind can blow both ways, but Donald Trump is kind of an impulsive guy. When it blows Diddy's way, he may pull the trigger and then just act. Right. And that's what I think is going to happen here.
According to court documents, Judge Robinson gave Diddy's legal team until December 23rd to submit their full argument explaining why his conviction should be overturned. The prosecution has until February 20th to respond, and Diddy's lawyers get one final chance to reply by March 13th. If everything moves on schedule, oral arguments could begin as early as April. But what's really catching people's attention isn't just the timeline, it's how surprisingly favorable the process seems for Diddy. These unusual concessions from the court, combined with rumors that Trump might pardon him, have fueled speculation that there may already be a quiet deal between Diddy and the government. In fact, Graham Stephan and the crew on the Valuetainment podcast even discussed the possibility that Diddy could be cooperating behind the scenes to protect himself.
Do you think Diddy was an FBI informant? You think the feds had him?
I think that they knew about him a long time ago, and there's certain situations that came out, like this guy paperwork found some information where Puff was seeing a federal agent in D.C. And it popped up. He had an appointment with a federal agent in D.C.
What year?
And I think 91. Somewhere when he was
That early?
That early. I don't know why or what was the situation. It came out.
Wow. Diddy seen with a federal agent in 91? That's way before he becomes somebody.
Yeah, but you got to realize he was doing a lot of parties. He was doing a lot of things in D.C. And I think it was possibly because there was an incident where some people died.
Got it. Similar to the other one with the 9 kids?
So yeah,
Got it.
Similar to that. But you got to realize this. At somebody, a certain person, and I'm not going to speak his name because I said I wasn't going to speak their name. They was offered a proffer agreement in 2011, but they wanted them to tell them the story of Puff with underage boys at their proffer agreement in 2011, brother.
What he did, and
yeah,
the fact that he made all his money by having a lot of, accused of having blackmail of, men, powerful men, having sex with younger women on his island, on the Epstein Island, and then using those tapes to come back up. You've heard that before. Would you speculate and say that Diddy is the music mogul version of what Epstein did in the financial industry with politics?
I would say that might be a possibility.
Okay, but not based on things that you've seen and, you've heard from people that you personally know.
No.
Okay.
I couldn't say that.
Got it. Interesting. Why else do you think they would raid his Miami and LA home? When that happened, what did you see? When you saw there, why are they doing this?
Well, I think it's probably to more so either protect the people that he do have information on, or because of what he did and he riled up some people in the business, and they trying to show them how powerful they really are.
Right now, Diddy's official release date is May 8th, 2028, but that could change. If he earns good behavior credits or completes rehabilitation programs, he might get out even earlier. He's already served 14 months since his arrest in September 2024, and with this new appeal, his team hopes that timeline could speed up even more. For now, though, former mob boss Michael Franzese believes Diddy will have it relatively easy in prison thanks to his money, connections, and influence, though he warns that power can also make someone a target behind bars.
Because of the fact that he's a money guy, I think he's going to have more friends than he will enemies. And in a medium security, normally nobody's looking to shank you. When you get into the higher institutions, when people are doing, a ton of time and there's no way you can benefit them, then you got a little more problem. But in a medium security, I don't think he'll have an issue at all. I really don't. He can be too much of a benefit to inmates that are always looking for something. And he could be a golden ticket for some people, at least in their mind.
Do you think Diddy will get out of prison earlier than expected? Or should the court have given him a longer sentence considering everything that's come out? White right pointing backhand index, share your thoughts in the comments below.